It's episode 35 of the Improv London podcast. I'm your host, Stuart Moses, and this week's guest is Juwel Haque. Should we start with the who, the what, and the where?
Okay.
Who are you?
I'm Juwel Haque.
Welcome.
We are in a park just south of the South Bank. It's
Where I take all my dates.
Right. It's home turf for you.
This is the first time I've been to this park.
Will Pedro be along with a suspicious-looking drink in a minute?
Hey, you know I'm classy. I've got all that.
Locked down, yeah. And Lionel Richie appears behind us in a couple of hours.
I'm thinking fountains. I'm thinking, it's all
string quartet.
I mean, it depends how it's going.
You might find I'm easier than that.
I might not bother. Yeah, it's all right, Lionel. It's all right. It won't be necessary tonight. Anyway, so we are here in this lovely park.
Yes.
To talk about you.
Yeah.
And in particular, improv.
Improv. Yeah, don't talk about the rest of me. That's not...
We can talk about the rest of you. You feel the need to share that, the things you feel guilty about or just need to get off your chest, and we're here for you. Me and the listeners here.
Oh, wow. So maybe later when I'm a bit more... We built a foundation of trust.
Oh, right, okay. You're one of those people. You want a foundation of trust before you give me the interesting stuff. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, we've started on the right. We presume to know each other.
We have, yes. Well, yeah. Apart from all that bit where I was going, well, who are you then?
Oh, can I say? See, the who, what, where thing, right? That annoys me actually, because I've seen plenty of scenes go well without clearly defined any of them sometimes, or without clearly defined one or two of those things, and. So, like, when I'm trying to do a scene with someone and, we're figuring out what it's about and looking for answers within my scene partner and them to me, and so it's like, I don't also want to have to think of, I don't want to have to tick off a checklist as well in my head. So I just like to figure it out between my scene partner, and I like this sort of slow exposition of a scene. For instance, it would annoy me to be in an exercise where you go, find your who, what, where in your first three lines. It's a contrivance. It's not discovery. So that annoys me. And there are experienced improvisers howling at me right now if they're listening. Hello, people I've just offended about their teachings. I
think they're all different techniques. And some are for some people and some are for other people. So I think it's useful to be aware of these things. And if it works for you, brilliant, go for it. And if it doesn't, there's other ways you can approach it.
Yeah. Well, that should be what I should be. My wiser self would say.
But you're just too angry to be tolerant.
No, what I'm too angry for is to be told what to do. That's what it is. Exactly. It's what you just said about. I think it's assemble toolkits, gain what you can from other people in terms of what they think works and in what different contexts. Because in one sense, improv is all the same, and in another, there's different expectations for different shows and stuff. But yeah, I don't know if the who, what, where works for me. I like just thinking about the who and having the what, where emerge naturally, for instance. So that's a bugbear of mine that I've disclosed up top.
What are your other bugbears?
How long have we got?
About 45 minutes to an hour is about usual.
Right, another thing. Let's start this on a positive.
Okay, let's start this on a positive note.
No,
right.
Not conflict directly.
No, fair enough. Okay, so you're. We'll get into that later. So you're involved with various groups at the moment.
Well, 2, and then a thing I do by myself.
That sounds like various to me.
I do envy, like, there's people that are in loads of stuff. Like, I listened to your episode with Brendan, who's in all sorts. Arfie's in, like, half the groups in the city. Keith was in loads. Where'd you find the time? But no, I do envy people that get to do loads of different styles, and it's all stuff that they like. And yeah, there's still stuff, as much as I'm in, and I'm really grateful for, there's still stuff that I feel like I'm missing out on that I enjoy doing.
What do you feel you're missing out on?
Long form, for one thing. I'm in Story Kitchen, which performs theatre sports. I'm in TooManyLuggage, a new musical group.
Wow.
Which is going really, really fun. I'm really chuffed with that.
Tell me about TooManyLuggage then.
TooManyLuggage. So you're doing the Hoopla musical course, aren't you?
I am, yes.
Have you finished? Or?
We have one more this week, and then it's the showcase on Wednesday.
Yeah. Brilliant, isn't it?
It's amazing. Yes, no, it's really, really good.
Yeah, so we did the first one of those with Maria and Phil, and a few of us got together afterwards to form this group.
Brilliant, because I was at the showcase for that, which I really enjoyed.
Good, yeah. No, yeah, that was like one of my highlights of the year. It was so much fun, that showcase. And the whole course, really, I enjoyed us as classmates so much, and yeah, it's just lovely, and I love to sing, and it's wonderful.
So how did you make the transition from, hey, we are all getting on well in this class, to, forming a group?
A few of the guys knew each other from before and had tried to be a group, which didn't take, but they still kept the flame alive within themselves. And then they asked a few others in the class, we certainly want to keep this going, and musical improv. They asked me, and I said, oh, hell yeah, I absolutely want to keep it going as well. So we just figured out who would be interested, and I guess the few of us that were driving it just said, hey, we've got rehearsals time and space, and let's do a doodle poll to see when a good day of the week is for everyone, and we did that. So yeah, we've met for regularly on like Mondays, and we'd had the odd extra coaching session as well, and managed to do a really good first show as well recently.
So where are you rehearsing?
In Chiswick.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if anywhere in Chiswick. What's going on there?
It's at the Arts Ed School. One of us has a way in to get us the rooms.
Nice.
Yeah, and like until then, I'd never been to that part of London, and it seems alien to me. I'm from Inner East London, and yes, it looks like what you're picturing in your head. And Chiswick's just this really pretty, impossibly pretty suburb with lots of shops of babies' clothing and little bookshops. Yeah, you'd raise a family there if you wanted your kids to grow up without any trouble in life.
Which just sounds, I'm quite sold it to me, actually. I think that would be quite nice. I also love tiny bookshops, and I'm indifferent to babies' clothes, to be honest. Right, so when you do those rehearsals, how do you rehearse? Have you got someone accompanying you, or?
One of us had his friend come along to watch our showcase. He's a pianist who plays for groups. I think he sort of does. They play improvised as well, but he got interested in being our accompanist and learning to sort of on the fly, learning to be an improvising. Yeah,
brilliant. Do you want to give him a name check?
This is Jonnie Harrison. Hey, Jonnie. And he's sort of just picking it up from scratch and sort of learning to read when a scene's ready for underscoring or ready for a song, and he'll kick it. And he's been. I've really enjoyed some of the choices he's made musically, and there's some of our run-throughs that we do at rehearsal, and just really enjoying being in that group, man. So we've had our first show, and may we have many more.
Where was your first show?
It was Tuesday Chuckles, which is a night that's on at Aces and Eights.
Oh, right.
You spoke to Heather Shaw a while back, and
yes.
she has a night there.
Yes, stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Yes.
I went to that recently. It was really fun, so do go. Hey, Heather. Another of our group has a contact there who at the Tuesday Chuckles night, and she got us a slot. And that went really, really well.
And you were an improv group in a what sort of night was that?
It's mixed, so improv and stand-up. And character as well.
And how was the sort of the reaction to these guys are going to sing?
We were well received, I thought, and certainly we did good work. And people afterwards, that's really good, well done.
Excellent.
So.
That's great. That sounds great. I mean, and it's also really nice that you've got a musician coming in, because who's kind of learning to improvise. Because from a selfish point of view, the more people out there, the more improvising musicians there are, the more people there are potentially to accompany me. So well done for that.
Yeah, and now that he's got a shout on your show, he owes you something.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much how this show works.
Yeah,
people get mentioned, then they're indebted to me, and then I force them to work with me.
This is a racket, and I'm an unwitting accomplice. I'll never live this guilt down. Do not appear on this show if he asks.
Do not appear on this show.
It's a Faustian bargain. It's
so
I sold my soul for a little extra sort of publicity. I don't know.
It was a bargain.
I'll become a dramatically worse improviser after this. That's what's going to happen.
What happened?
Yeah,
take a piece of your soul.
Exactly. I can't do relationship improv anymore. Just got to drop all that and be a premise-based guy.
Which is perfectly legitimate.
Which is fine, yes. Which I've been learning at the Free Association as well, which has been really fun.
What's it like with the Free Association? I haven't done any of their stuff. I've always wanted to, but I've just, time, money.
There will always be time to do the things you want to do. One of my best friends has that on a poster, those are the words on his poster, and the picture is of some beautiful waterfall in Bangladesh, and it's really nice to see it when I go around and see him, but also odd given his personality. But yeah, the FA isn't going away anytime soon, so
good to hear.
And great for the London scene because they're doing such great and fun stuff. It is really fun, and it'll flex improv muscles that you might not normally. You learn to do premise-based improv.
So premise-based improv, what's that?
It's again this is going to be how I understand it.
Yeah.
So there's organic improv where you discover what a scene is about from within the scene. That's how I think of it. And then there's premise-based improv where a person will have an idea for a scene on roughly how they want it to go, or what they want it to be about. So that becomes how they open it, or that channels into how they open it. So I was just about to walk into giving an example. I can't think. I could be, oh, Dad, don't be mad. I've broken your vinyls, or something. So yeah, so in hearing "don't be mad," the expectation is you're going to be mad.
Oh right, yes, okay, that's interesting.
You offer your scene partner a clue as to what you want the scene to be about and what you want from them in return, whether you want them to be a straight man to your ridiculous idea or to join you as a pea in a pod thing. All these sort of techniques and hoovering up at the FA. So did the Game of the Scene course with Graham Dixon, and learned the Herald or their approach to the Herald anyway, with Mike Orton-Toliver and Jim Woods. A lot of the reason I wanted to learn at the FA is because I'd seen Mike and Jim's TooProv a couple of times.
Yeah.
And they're amazing, aren't they? It's just
They are.
so rapid.
They are. I was just thinking about this particular show that I saw them do. And I thought that I'd wasted those 2 hours of my life watching Rocky 4. I thought, that's a waste. They're 2 hours I'll never get back. And then they did this whole show with Rocky 4 informing it. And it was just like, you know, that's my life has been building up to this moment.
Okay,
so, you know, I'd have enjoyed the set anyway.
Yeah.
But if I hadn't seen Rocky 4, but having seen Rocky 4, I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah. So all your mistakes and your struggles. And,
turns out
that's the journey.
Yeah.
It's what you have to go through.
It is, yeah.
So Lighthouse Family or something. Turn to Mike and Jim for if you want any reconciliation for all your dark.
I mean, they're very much the Lighthouse Family of
Oh my God!
I don't know if they'll ever speak to me now. They just have blown it.
Oh man.
I mean, in a good way.
It is positive. Hey, I like Lighthouse Family. That's very... and Tunde's voice is lovely.
Yeah.
It's Tunde's, isn't it? So I'd learned stuff at the FA, and I've gotten... a bunch of us have gotten auditions for a new house team they're assembling.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. I don't know. I doubt I'd get it because there's so many really funny and talented students at the FA that have been such a joy to play with, and I'm just going to have fun at the audition at least, and the class I did and the class that ran parallel to us as well, like we'd got together a couple of times since finishing our courses to just do Harold practice as well. So again, just working on the entirety of the approach and sort of how to get a nice pull from monologues or other openings.
How do you get a good pull from a monologue or other opening?
If I knew. Wouldn't be sitting here talking to you. So I guess in your opening, whatever it is, like, usually at the FA it's monologues because like it's for them it's the best, and certainly for me it's the best anyway. The openings will allude to characters or people with weird, absurd points of view,
right.
And so you're having noticed that. You'll notice it because it got a laugh from the audience, and you'll notice that, and you go, okay, now how do I open a scene with that point of view in a way that really shines it up and gives the subsequent scene some real legs?
Wow, that sounds hard.
It kind of obviously, like, it gets easier the more you do it, the more you do in the class and stuff.
Yes.
Jim's time-honoured example for us is like if you want to explore the weird point of view of a McDonald's employee that thinks it would be a good idea to serve dog turd burgers, you wouldn't open it with your scene partner as the manager because he'd just tell you to sod off and you haven't got a scene there. You might open it instead with a colleague who presumably likes you and is willing to hear you out for long enough to sustain a scene.
Right. Yeah.
And to sort of be your straight man and argue it with you. Sort of show you where it's ridiculous and you've just got to maintain your point of view somewhere. Hopefully a more accomplished player will come along to set me straight.
That sounded a good description. And I haven't done much premise-based improv. I mean, partly my concern is that if I need an idea before I step on stage, I will never step on stage. And that I will step on stage first and then, something will come to me or we'll find the scene together. But if I have to have an idea before I do that, I'll still be on the sidelines by the end of the show.
like the teachers are really great there though, because they'll like if in class your premise didn't lead to a really fulfilling scene, then they'll explore it with you in terms of how to create that. So they'll ask you, what is it you're pulling from the monologue, say, and you say what it is that you found interesting, and then just talk back and forth with you as to so then what's the weird funny point of view, and you figure it out, and then they'll invite you to try again. And they'll tell you and your scene partner that supported you there, imagine that we haven't had this conversation. Wipe the ram cleans, and give you every chance to open and have your scene out in a way that works in the end, which is really cool, because it's like it makes you feel like there's no bad idea in itself. It's just you've got to sort of explore it in the right way, or open it in such a way that it can be explored in a fulfilling way, I think. And that's sort of really encouraging to learn that, you know, your choice and your instinct is usually good, and you just need to refine what you then do with it. So they're really, really just awesome and skilled at doing that. Really grateful to have learned under them.
Hooray! So in addition to the FA stuff, you're also, as you mentioned, playing theatre sports.
Yes.
What's that like?
Yes. Oh my God, it is so much fun. I just thought about on the way here how much fun I would have missed out on if I hadn't sent that first email to Faye going, yes, I'd like to be on that workshop, please. So Story Kitchen, we're taking over. We've got 20 odd improvisers and many other brilliant people like Phil Lunn and Tom Hodge have accompanied us, and Tom Bacon's done tech for us, and so we perform monthly at the Miller on Saturday, which is a huge thing to get to do.
Yes.
And we have the whole night to ourselves to do our matches, and we rehearse the week or the fortnight before, and in the time in between, we get together with our teams that we've been cast into and work out what our team's theme and premise is going to be, and just have loads of fun coming up with challenge ideas or potential handles for scenes and games we might want to play in our matches. Liaising with the other team as well, because the match is a collective endeavour, it's not a competitive thing, just coordinating with them as to creating a good overall match and what we want to achieve in the match. We might have collective goals for it, for instance. So it's just so much fun being among that cast and all those people, and soaking up the goodness of much more experienced improvisers as well. And everyone's really cool and nice to each other, which is not always the case in this harsh world.
Really.
You're trying to get me there undercover, Stu. You're trying to get me to open up.
I am. If listener, you could only see my eyes.
They're burning holes in my.
These are my supportive eyes. These are my. If you did want to cry, I'm not saying you should, but if you did, it would be good. Maybe it would help you.
You Machiavellian. You almost got me.
Sorry, listener, I almost got behind his armour there, but no.
He'll try again in 20 minutes, and this time he'll put his hand on mine as well.
He'll be like, we're here for you. Yeah. Me and all the listeners, we're behind you, supporting you. These moments of, do you want to cry now? That sort of thing.
And so is Lionel Richie.
Hello.
Oh my God, Story Kitchen! I'm so excited to be on that team, and we've got our last theatre sports show of the season on Saturday, so that will have happened already, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But then also we've got a few slots in the Miller Comedy Festival next week as well.
Cool.
So with that, there's gonna be a 40-minute match on each of Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So it's going to be as if Wednesday and Thursday are semi-finals, 2 teams each, and winning teams will get to play again on Friday in the final.
Wow.
So and that's the opening slot on each of those days, so we get to open for some really great acts later on each night as well.
Yeah.
That's a bull. What is that? I'm not good at recognising dog breeds.
That was quite a scary looking dog.
Yes, that's the scary breed, yeah. I think he's excited about theatre sports, and we'll see him there on Saturday.
Down the front.
Yeah, I've handed him a flyer.
Ever the consummate marketer.
Faye would be so proud of me if that were true. It's true, Faye.
I saw him.
Yeah. Oh, you spoke to... Yeah, of course you spoke to Faye. Yes. Faye Brown, our director.
Yes, I did, yes.
Previous episode. Learning a lot about theatre sports from her, and also from Patty Styles, who came over to do a bunch of courses and did a special top secret theatre sports workshop with us as well.
What did she do in the top secret theatre sports workshop?
Help.
I'm like a spy. Watch me get through his reserves.
And I'm just too naive and gullible. I'm too open is my problem.
It's just you and me here sitting in the park. No one else will know.
No. So, can I hear leaves rustling? Is that... No? Right, okay, I'll keep talking then. In that one, she gave us a much clearer sort of understanding of Keith Johnston's vision for an ideal for the format, and that's what we're trying to adhere to. And I know Faye talked to you about how other theatre sports companies around the world have sort of ruined it for him, or ruined what?
Diluted.
Yes, that's the most generous word for it, I think. His phrase is... one of his phrases for it is in terms of how disappointed he's been with that, is that they pissed on the altar. We don't want to do that.
That sounds horrible on so many levels. There is no way in which that sounds attractive.
It's like, I mean, when I was first learning about the format through our first few sort of rehearsals and shows and stuff, there were things that initially struck me as... either I didn't like them or I thought they were superfluous. But then the more you do shows and the more you get to understand them. Like the rescue horn. I don't know if Faye talked to you about this.
Explain it for those that might not.
So if we're watching scenes in a theatre sports match, judges who judge the scenes on how good they thought they were have the option of sounding the rescue horn, not the rescue, it's just the horn, I think, now.
Right.
Patty's talked to us.
Okay.
By the way, she got us to buy nicer sounding horns.
Really? Wow.
So, like, out of a fear that the horns that we had up to that point were a bit too harsh and dismissive on the ears.
Wow.
So there's a more pleasant, almost cartoony sounding horn we've got now.
That's lovely.
Which is nice. It's a nicer way to be dismissed. The idea for it is that if...
Hello? Sorry, this
another
is
dog.
This is the most dog-filled podcast we've ever recorded.
Oh, the show's about them now. So shall we just do dogs?
Just talk about dogs. So the horn. Patty Styles got you to get a nicer sounding horn.
Yeah. And we practiced again how to accept the horn with good grace, with a positive smile on our face, and almost a thank you to the judges, because like the judges aren't trying to tell you off by issuing the horn; they're trying to help you out. Help you out of a scene that isn't going very well to perform in, or to observe, or just to protect you, in fact.
Yes.
The horn is there, and the host introduces it as the warning for boring to the audience. So initially, I don't think I'm the only person who felt that the idea of the horn being there at the back of your head might make you a little more anxious as a player and worried about it. And anxiety is really the enemy for improv, I think, and just prevents you from doing good stuff. But in recent months, I've just to myself, I've gone. If I want to play as if the horn isn't there and therefore rid myself of anxiety, just imagine that the horn isn't there, and then I can just get on with doing a good scene.
Yeah.
And then hopefully I'm in good enough scenes that it may as well not be there.
Yes.
I just I try not to think about the fact that it's there, basically, and just try and think about doing good scenes and connecting with my scene partners and having fun. So the horn, for instance, is one thing that initially would strike you as the enemy of improv, but then it turns out there was, Keith Johnston did have a legit vision for it, or for the basket as well, or for scoring in the first place.
What's the basket?
The basket is again at the top of the match. The host introduces the basket as to be issued to any players for lewd, crude, or inappropriate behaviour.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if an improviser, say, swears or is quite offensive, especially out of context of the scene, then at the end of the scene, the judges might call that player to the stage to receive the basket and to have to wear it and then sit out the duration of their team's next scene.
Really? Wow. That's an interesting choice.
Yeah.
Why is that, do you think?
The idea is that I think Keith Johnson wanted Theatre Sports to be a family-friendly show.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he didn't want then for players to have to censor themselves within scenes.
Right.
So that they could still play with all the same freedom as you would want to when you're performing. So you can get on with a scene, and if you happen to swear, you happen to swear, and there's some mechanisms for dealing with that. So any unease the audience might feel for having just seen lewd, crude, or inappropriate behaviour is diffused in a nice way with this silly basket on the head, and you receive it with, either mischievous, what did I do, Gov, or just, fair enough, I deserve that really, and it's just a nice way to diffuse possible tension from having witnessed the lewd, crude, or inappropriate behaviour of someone who was improvising and shouldn't have to censor themselves and therefore restrict what they can do in a scene.
Ah, right. No, that's a really interesting technique that I had not heard before.
Yeah, I think more teams should adopt it. Do
you?
No. If they want to, they can, and it'll be certainly really fun to see. I'm not prescribing it.
I don't know. I suppose it depends on the team, and if they're always going lewd, rude, and crude.
Yeah.
It's like, that's fine, that can be very funny, but I don't necessarily want to see every scene in that genre. That's what I'm...
Yeah.
Maybe I could bring my own basket along, and then that would seem
as
weird.
An audience member?
Yeah, and just present them with a basket afterwards. you were too rude.
Yeah. Here's
a basket, would you please wear it on your head? So, would that be alright?
Give it a try.
Yeah, I'm not that bothered.
No.
But,
How about a potted plant?
Give them a plant. That might reward them. That might send them further down the direction of where I don't want them to go.
Yeah. I don't know. I think, people do swear in improv because, improv is getting up on stage and doing what we do is a scary thing, and I guess swearing feels powerful. That's my take on it.
Yeah, and also, sometimes I'll play a character who would naturally swear more than I would.
Yeah. It's liberating. To not be yourself, and then there's quite a few. Having heard a few of the episodes, quite a few people have said, particularly as introverts, they get to do, play outside of that introverted skin for a while and do different things. Isn't it nice? Yeah.
It is nice.
Yeah. It saves us from having to be so damn nice and reasonable to each other all the time. You can be that strict parent and thereby resolving any issues you had with your own. Yeah. He's touching me.
It's in the contents of that story.
I know.
It sounds much worse than it actually was. That was
all he done was
supportive touch on the shoulder.
That's
there.
all you
I was
done.
hoping he was going to cry, but
No.
I mean, not cry in a bad way.
No.
Oh God!
I can't interpret that as supportive touch now. Because I've been tagged out so many times. That's what it is. You tagged me out,
like I tagged you out
of my own episode.
Let's just get someone else in the park and see if they want to talk about improv.
Perhaps one of the dogs would like to take over. Oh man. Thank you, Stu. I needed your support at these uncertain times. Yeah.
Well, we're here for you.
Aww.
Me and all the listeners, we're all here for you.
Thank you.
So let's travel back in time.
Please, do we have to? Yes, let's.
Take you
Not all the way to. I was born in Mile End Hospital.
How was that?
Well, I can't remember it, but I think my mum found it quite difficult. Yeah. I was 8 pounds.
That's not bad.
And she was 18. Stu's eyes just went so wide.
I wasn't sure whether that was her weight or her age.
No, she was her age.
Because 18 pounds is quite... Well, that's not very much.
Not for a mother, no.
Not for anyone, really.
For a baby, a newborn, though.
Oh, yeah, for a newborn, but it'd be weird if a newborn was...
8, yeah. Not to judge those.
No, there's no judgment here.
No, not at all. No. We you put a disclaimer in the show notes. Is that what you're going to do?
Yeah, there is no judgment here. People can read it in the show notes.
Although, if people want to feel better, we are now both wearing baskets. So.
Yes, of course, not wearing baskets.
Oh, wow,
the podcast report, so just put these on our heads.
Right, yes. Hoopla is where I began.
Really?
Yeah.
How unusual.
Maverick Tales, yeah.
Someone started improv with Hoopla. God dear.
I was doing singing courses with City Academy.
Oh, right. That's interesting.
It is, and it's fun. And if people want to sing more, they should try those.
I was looking at a musical theatre as a one-day course at Morley College.
Okay.
I thought that looks a lot of fun. But wouldn't it be restrictive to actually have to sing an actual song? Wouldn't it actually be in some ways harder learning an actual song than making one up?
Do you think so?
Well, it's only because I've got a lot more experience of making a song up than trying to sing somebody else's.
For me, it's actually a lot easier because, like, you don't have to think of the lyrics as you're singing them. To you, they may as well be certain sounds to certain notes, and they're not necessarily ideas that you're making up.
Yes,
if that makes any sense. Like, you don't have to understand, say, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, what it means lyrically or anything, what it means to the characters in the moment, to be able to sing it. It's just a string of different variations of la and so and whatever. Point being, I find it much easier to. At least I find it much easier to sing a pre-written song well than I do improvising them. Like, I can improvise a song, and hopefully I can sing well. But to be able to do both is a little trickier.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Because it's just using a lot of your brain already to have to concoct a whole song to yourself.
Yes.
Although, like, if you're learning it, you learn lots of ways to make it easier on yourself. Like really simple choruses, for instance.
Yes.
And not being a slave to rhyme.
Yes.
All those things, which you will learn on a musical improv course, which everyone should do.
Yes. Well, I enjoy it. Yeah. I don't necessarily think just because I enjoy something everyone should do it, though. But maybe you're more dogmatic.
No, I
maybe
am
you're
not.
You're more convinced that you're right.
Anyone can do who, what, where if they want. I'm just saying I feel restricted by. Where were we? Yes, so
you were doing singing at City Academy.
Yeah, and after classes we'd go have the odd drink, and we'd talk to each other about other stuff we're doing, and one of my classmates said she was learning improv at Hoopla, and I couldn't believe that there was such a thing, because I'd loved Whose Line Is It Anyway as a kid, and then also while I was at uni watching clips of the US Whose Line on YouTube and stuff. I had no idea that that's a thing that regular people could do, or that it could be done in London. I thought it disappeared with Whose Line here. But yeah, I looked it up, and oh my God, real people like me I can actually do this. Sign my ass up. So that's what I did. I signed up, and it's really funny. I was really just buzzing and really looking forward to doing it. And it was at the Rag Factory off Brick Lane, and I grew up off Brick Lane, so it was really nice to be at my old stomping ground again. So the whole time I'm buzzing and really looking forward to this until I get on to, until maybe 2 minutes before the class, and I'm nearly there. At which point I realised there's going to be other people there. There's going to be other people there. They're also going to be at this class, and they're going to be watching me and judging me and deciding that I suck or that I'm not funny or whatever. All that goes away when you've had your first class with Maria Peters, and she's made you all feel quite safe with each other and with her. I
mean, I say this very regularly on the podcast, but just getting along to your first improv class is a big achievement.
Yeah.
It's easy once you're a little bit further down the path, when you've done a few shows or whatever, to forget actually just going along to that first class.
Isn't it so easy to sort of devalue your achievements so long after you've, I do that all the time, and you go, so there'd be stuff that I've done quite often now that I'd completely forgotten how much it put me in knots inside the first time.
Yeah.
And you don't often enough revisit those memories and go, you did a really good thing there for who you were at the time. You should give yourself a pat on the back for those things.
Yeah.
More of the time I'm tied up in my head about the things that I'm now apprehensive about.
Yeah.
And going, do I have the courage for this? When you've got arguably your whole life as a body of evidence to go, you've done this, then you did this then. So those you thought those things were too hard for you, and they weren't.
Yeah.
Or maybe they were, and you didn't die.
Yes.
And then you kept doing them, and you got comfortable with them, which is probably a bad thing, and maybe you're not stretching yourself enough, and that's why you're now apprehensive about the next step you've got to take. Maybe each next bit of doubt is a sign of how far you've come, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
I felt that way about Player One the first time I did that, for sure.
Tell us about Player One, your solo short form.
Yeah, I did that for the first time at a Launchpad last month. Basically, as soon as I'd gotten into improv well enough that I knew I wanted to do it, more and more of it, and I wanted to watch more of it. I'd seen I'd seen many acts, and some of them were soloists that just impressed the hell out of me. People like Ginny Lyons is such an inspiration, for instance, and it's amazing that she's on Story Kitchen as well, and we're learning from her too. John Maybe, I think we saw his first ever solo show, didn't we? Wasn't it? And I've seen him recently again, and he's no less brilliant. Nick Oram and his Playmobil Players, what a show that is. I saw that early on as well.
Just the idea of it makes me laugh.
Saw him do it recently at the Miller, and it's like all he asked in terms of tech was that the lights be completely blacked out, because he would illuminate the stage, which is a vinyl record, with a lamp that he brought along. And that really sucks you into just that one spot of light in among the darkness. And on this vinyl record, he's got all the Playmobil figurines and after enough time of really great, solid relationship improv, you completely forget you're watching toys. You think you're watching real people. Sorry. But yeah, I'd watched enough soloists to be blown away by their technique and their composure, and to be really admiring of and envious of them, and go, one day I would really love to, be in that, hallowed echelon of solo improv. And then, so I'd had that flame dimly lit inside me for very early on, and then after enough time of doing Story Kitchen and doing, including in that some short form games, which I guess I hadn't done at all since the first Hoopla performance showcase, right? And just remembering how fun those flipping games are, right? And after all, I'd loved Whose Line, and it's pretty much why I'd got interested in improv at all. And so I did want to assemble a short form group, so just to be really just fun to do over a weekend, and without necessarily any dreams of conquering the world or anything, just so people that I like playing with and can have fun together and then go to the pub afterwards. and then one day, just the two thoughts decided they would collide in my head and go, why don't you just do it? It would save me the trouble of asking people to be in a group with you.
Rehearsals would be a lot easier to organise.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, herding cats is next one. But no, just the more I thought of it, the more the idea just made me laugh for its silliness and audacity. And anyone I've said to that I do this, they have an instant reaction to it as well, which is really positive. Like, some people are like, well, how does that work? And you tell them, or some people guffaw instantly. That sounds amazing. So just if the very idea amuses and delights you as much as that, then why shouldn't you bring it to the earth? And people have said that, as far as they know, they've not seen anything like that.
So what's the format?
It's just I play short form games by myself, and there'll be scenes with multiple characters, and I'll play all of them.
Right.
And it's just one show old, so it feels a bit presumptuous to say that this is a thing that I do, rather than this is a thing that I did once. But no, it's going to be a thing that I do for a long, long time, just because I feel like it was really well received at Launchpad. Certainly, people afterwards saying how much they enjoyed it.
So, what games do you play on your own?
At this first one, I did Emotional Quarters.
Oh right, and that's when you divide up the stage into quarters, and each quarter has a different emotion.
Yeah,
you get the different emotions from the audience.
Yes.
Right, cool. Yeah.
Might be a good time for a shout out here, because I'd picked up that game from watching the Pina Colidas.
Oh, yeah.
So that Launchpad was hosted by Mike Hutchison, who had coached the Pina Colidas and taught them that game. So he felt really satisfied that it had come full circle for him in that way. So I did that first, which went okay. I think I guess I was still nervous enough for it to have not gone amazingly. I think it went all right.
But so you asked the audience for different emotion for each corner of the stage.
Yeah.
And then
also another thing, I forgot what it was. It might have been a location.
Oh, right, yeah.
To then... Oh, was it a location? It was about a doctor and a patient anyway, the scene. I got that as well, and did a scene with my two characters moving about the stage, experiencing the different emotions. So I did that.
So how did you differentiate between the two characters?
So they'd have had a position on stage, each of them,
right,
and just moved from one to the other.
Right.
And if that character wanted to be in a different quarter, I would have to do it while in that character.
Right.
And they each had different voices. I think there was a male doctor and a female patient. So hopefully my voices for them were different enough to...
That's what I'm getting at. I'm like, did you use voices?
Yes.
How much acting were you doing?
Voices, characters, yes.
Yes.
I love characters, so that helps. The next one was New Choice,
Which I love.
For which, what I did was I stole my brother's bike bell.
Would Patty Styles approve of the tone of this bike bell?
It was a ding. It was the idea is not to dismiss with new choices, isn't it? It's just to invite a new thing, isn't it? So I hope it's Patty approved. If you're buying bike bells on Amazon, there might be a Patty approved kite mark on it.
I saw a picture of her face with a thumbs up. The Styles kite mark
with a big old, with her big old grin. And, wonderful. With New Choice, what I wanted to do initially was give the audience the bell and give it to them under the rule that they get to ding it once, but obviously that ding would then force my character, whichever character it was that just did something to change the thing they did. And I discussed it with a few of my Story Kitchen teammates, and Ginny suggested that I be the person that does the bell to myself.
Nice. Because then you're messing with yourself.
Yes, hopefully that's the idea. My initial thought for it, when I heard it, was, then wouldn't there be a risk that you're giving yourself an easy time? And then you go, well, I guess you just got to be vigilant and screw yourself over.
I love that
Isn't
idea.
It like?
I love that idea.
I was about 60-40 on doing it that way up until when I got there, and then I decided to commit to it. And I think it went really well. I did a mother and son at Disneyland, and then introduced a third character who was going to prevent the kid from getting on the ride. So people afterwards said that it did look as though I was surprising myself when I rang it, but I didn't have anything preloaded each time. Well, that's what I'd hoped would happen anyway, that I would ring the bell when I could predict my next line or two ahead.
Right.
That would not be acceptable now, would it? So I'd think, no, try to surprise yourself. So most of the time it was that, and some of the time, which is a bit more ethically grey, is I would say a line, and then pretty much after I'd said it, think of a different thing that I could have said, and then I'd just ring the bell and bring that forth instead.
Right.
Which, like I said,
it's all right.
Don't want to come down too hard on either side on that issue.
No, I think they're both valid approaches. If it works for you, done.
Yeah, I feel iffy about it. I would much rather have just entirely done it the first way, and to have caught myself out. To go, nope, I can predict that scene, nope, let's bring it off. Oh shit, I don't have something now. I better pull something out of myself. And I did, so that went well enough. And then I'm really proud of the last one, which was the alphabet game. So just played the alphabet game with me as both characters.
So you're starting each sentence with the letter from the alphabet and then working through the alphabet?
After the line before.
It's playing that game that makes me realise I don't know the alphabet quite as well as I first thought. How often? I mean, I know if I'm looking for something in alphabetical order how to find it, but how often do you recite it aloud? The answer, not very often once you're an adult.
No, and usually not from the middle either.
Yeah, exactly, yes.
Try doing it backwards, imagine that as a game. Stuart's just sharply take a breath.
I'm imagining it. I don't like what I'm imagining it, but I'm imagining it.
But with that, I did the scene sort of slower and more grounded, and emphasised the relationship between these two characters, which is not something you see in short form. And that possibility is another thing that excites me about this show. Is that I can get to do a short form in a way that is different from how it's usually seen and perceived.
Yes.
Short form games anyway, because short form in itself, for instance, theatre sports comes under short form, and that is a thing that we do. We try and tell stories as well as hopefully being funny and liked as well. So, but yeah, with this you can actually do that with short form games like alphabet or number of words maybe.
So number of words is the one where you can only speak in
a certain given number of words. Yeah.
Yes, that's hard.
Yeah, it is.
Fun. Fun.
Obviously the fun with the games is for the audience to see the improvisers navigate the rules and fail to as well.
Yeah.
So I guess for this as well, what I enjoyed was the idea that the audience would enjoy me putting myself through sheer hell.
Yes, in a way, that's even more fun watching someone do it to themselves than watching someone else do it.
Yeah.
That's like...
I just enjoyed having that image of it in my head, and I thought I would be happy to offer myself up for that. So I did want to do a fourth game. I did want to do Blind Date, but I wouldn't have had enough time for it apparently, because Mike had blacked me out after the third one.
So Blind Date, how does that work?
Normally it's 4 players and one is a contestant on Blind Date, and the other 3 are people that are trying to get a date with her. But in the Improv game, they each have a weird quirk or character.
Oh, right,
and
okay.
They've got to bear that forth in how they play the game. The way I would have done it as a soloist is, just be all the characters.
But I almost think that's a 15-minute slot and Launchpad on its own, rather than one fourth game,
Yeah, so I guess I was far too optimistic to want to try and get it in a 15-minute slot. But no, hopefully I'll get more opportunities to play as player 1 through all the time. And I'll get to pick up more games to add to the repertoire. I imagine doing bartender. I think that would be quite fun.
Bartender is?
One character is the bartender, and in turn 3 other characters walk into the bar, sing a verse to the bartender, and the bartender sings back a verse in reply. And it could be congratulations or commiserations or advice for the problem that has just been brought to them.
And they sing it?
Yes.
Wow.
So you sing a verse of, it might be, this character is angry about something. What is he angry about? The tortoises. So you sing a 4-line verse of your anger about tortoises, and the bartender might sing you some advice back, or, fucking tortoises, they're bullshit, man. Or this character is drinking to celebrate something. What is it? And then,
Oh, that sounds really cool.
It's a fun enough game to have watched on Whose Line or wherever I've watched it, and I imagine it would be really difficult to do on my own.
But that makes it more fun for you and for the audience.
Hopefully, it's what I'm going for.
Because you're either going to soar or you're going to crash, but either way, it's still going to be, amazing. If you do it amazingly, that's going to be amazing. Yeah. And if you try it, but you commit to it fully, and it all goes wrong, that's also going to be amazing.
Yes.
So,
you go balls out. Yeah. Obviously, some of the funnest parts on Whose Line is watching Colin Mockery absolutely tank.
Yes.
For instance, he's going to be on the Lil Show, so that's amazing.
Shush, what's the Lil Show?
I've
never heard of that.
Oh, damn, no. You haven't, Stu, playing ignorant observer of improv.
What, do they have a podcast of Improv on as well?
Yeah.
I find that hard to believe.
How
very dare they?
Did they ask you if they could?
Did they start before me? Oh, yeah. So I suppose that's all right.
So this is London Improv Live. It is a show on K2K Radio, a local radio station in North West London.
Local radio. He said jealously.
Yeah, don't knock it, man. I've been on that a couple of times.
What was that like?
So much fun. And
it sounds terrifying.
Do you think so?
Yes.
Okay. Go on.
I just feel... No, I mean, it is amazing. It's a great show. I do love it. But it's just like, I don't know, I feel like I might be out of my comfort zone.
Okay. Does it sound fun to you?
Being outside my comfort zone.
Alright, no, forget that bit.
Not really.
I was going to say, because if it sounds fun, but it's outside your comfort zone, then you should do it as well. It's just improv, and except no one's looking at you, so you've got to do a little bit more work to give the audience a visual picture of it. But at end of the day, it's improv, and you chase the fun and have lots of fun with guys who are great. That's Talal, Karkuti, and Alex Sibright, and Luke Valbona. Hello, guys. Thanks for having me on twice. And they're gonna have Colin on with Steve Rowe. It's amazing, isn't it?
That is amazing.
Oh, man.
Damn you.
You're not going to interview Colin Mockery. He's not part of the London scene.
Maybe I will.
Maybe you... Oh. Is there something you want to... Is this a reveal, Stu?
No, it's just wishful thinking of my part, really.
And maybe your dreams come true.
I wouldn't go, I'm sorry, Colin. You're just not... You're not within the parameters of the podcast. You might be improv, but what are you, London? Sorry.
You stated your residence as Canada.
I've been prepared to push the envelope of this concept to accommodate Colin Mockery.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Or anybody else.
Oh.
But yeah, no, that is...
Anybody else? The Dalai Lama, does he do improv?
He could be on. The Dalai Lama wants to come on my podcast. Yeah. I would probably,
He might have a lot to say about it from a mindfulness perspective.
He might not. It's the Dalai Lama. He wants to be on the podcast. I'd probably let him talk about what he wanted to talk about. I mean, it would be a curious choice. I'd be intrigued to know how he'd found out about it. And maybe he's trying to do all the, he's trying to do the Destination podcast and he's trying to do the Bad Perspective podcast, the Lil Show and this.
Yeah,
so he gets the keys to the Miller. But it seems a weird choice for the Dalai Lama, but if that's what he wants to do, I'll help him.
Yeah. Wonder how he feels about who, what, where. Is it getting his way, or does he need it as a platform building device?
I don't know. Yeah, well, if he's on, I will ask him that.
Yeah. And
I will try and bring the conversation back to improv if he wants to talk about other things.
Sure. He'd be illuminated. Much love, boss man. Peace out. Yeah, where were we now?
Well, I was going to ask you, you were just talking about Colin Mockery being on the Lil Show, whatever that is.
Yeah. Was that Voldemort? Was that but yeah, I did that a couple of times, once with one of my teammates on Mr. Fridge.
Oh, right. Yes.
And prior to Mr. Fridge, once with Heather Shaw. Hi, Heather, who's... is that her second mention today? I love Heather to bits.
Yes, she's great.
I'm slightly a fangirl of her.
As are we all.
Aren't we all? With her lovable Bolton ways. Yeah, so both those times on the Lil Show were great fun. And, Mr. Fridge.
Yes, what did you learn from being in Mr. Fridge? This is the hand gesture I was doing when I was interviewing Heather Urquhart, by the way. I was doing this. This is
the rainbow. I've seen it now.
This is my rainbow. This is my rainbow thing. It's weird.
This character raises his hand and then cascades it downward gently in an arc.
Tell me about that thing. That was a thing. Tell me about it.
I have a feeling you would never have done that but for the musical course.
You are right. The musical course has released my inner rainbow, which has now become my outer rainbow.
So among the courses I did at Hoopla were the narrative course for 8 weeks with Steve, and Mr. Fridge formed out of pretty much everyone that was on that course, apart from Nick Oram was on that with us.
Really?
Yeah. He's not going to quit. Do not adjust your stage.
Whoever they
should
are.
have done, but
whoever they are.
Yeah. Do not adjust your what? What kind of? Nope. One of my favourite fucking groups. So good.
They are.
And great lads as well. It was really a privilege having Nick as a classmate. And all of the guys as well, and then coming together to continue rehearsing on the same day of week as we did at the class at.
That seems to be the way to do it.
Yeah,
it seems to be to continue on that night, ideally in the same rehearsal place, ideally at the same time.
Ideally. It's just that when we did our classes, they were at the Cobby Nuzrul Centre and close to the Rag Factory.
Yes.
But I forget where our first few were, probably at the Rag Factory. But then we moved on to the Theatre Delhi. Rest in peace.
Yes.
Moment for the Theatre Delhi. So.
That was it. That was enough.
Just kept it moving, same day, same time. Still practicing narrative, improv, doing it for 15-minute slots because a lot of our early shows were launch pads. And we would
we'd been getting places at other people's nights, and I'm so grateful that they let us do those as well. So getting to do 20 and 25-minute stories, and hosting our own nights eventually as well.
Yeah.
At the Ophelia in Dalston.
Oh, right. Cool.
So we did that a couple of times last year. After the second, which they got back to us and said, would you consider doing it on a monthly basis?
Brilliant.
It was so brilliant to have been asked, and we got, can we pull that off? And we thought, let's try. Turns out we couldn't. Because obviously what happens is you invite ice cream.
Ice cream! Runs off the stage.
Yeah, leaves behind the phone with the mic. Lionel Richie mops them up.
Turns out you couldn't. Oh dear. In what way could you not do it?
Well, like, you know when you're first doing improv, or you first finish the class or whatever, and then you want all your friends to come and see, and then you tap out of your friends' goodwill and enthusiasm to seen it.
Yeah, they go, but we've seen you do improv before.
Yeah.
It's like, but this is different.
It's a different show.
Yeah.
Like, I guess one tactic against this would be like to invite some of your friends one time and then some of them another time, so that there's enough breathing space between that for. But no, that certainly happened for me, certainly early on after the first Hoopla courses. I invited my friends to showcases and then to shows with Shark Door or Mr. Fridge. Hey Shark Door, that's my first group. And then they stopped coming.
Which is, it's nothing to do with you. That's the way of the world.
The world.
You know.
It's their wife. It's their kid. It's their job. It's their Netflix.
Don't you like laughing? Don't you like experiencing emotions? Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, I do. I just like my own bedroom more.
Well, that is,
I can't begrudge the people. They were nice enough to have come in the first place. Yeah. So that happened. It's only happened to me where like my friends weren't at my shows for like months, which actually I found really helpful. Because I guess with people you know, or people that know you, they only know you a certain way.
Yes.
They don't know the whole of you.
No.
And it's just too easy to, I was going to say regress, but to be that person that they know you as.
Yes.
And in that context. Whereas if you're an improviser, I guess you have to be willing to be anything.
Yes.
Any endowment, any character. And it's hard. I think it's harder to do that if you're bringing your ego on stage with you, if you're bringing a perception of you on stage with you.
Yes.
Yeah. So like I said, I would find it quite liberating to not have people I know at my shows, so that I could be anything I wanted to be.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
Because hopefully that's helped me get along really quickly. And become quite good, I think. To not be under the gaze of people that know me well enough to find it weird that I'm playing a princess now, or a donut.
Those are your two go-to roles.
Yeah.
You're not sure what to play the scene as, princess or donut?
No, I imagine I'd do that as player one, as a princess with a donut at some point. That seems logical. It seems like the black hole of my improv career. That scene will have amassed so much density.
In a sense, everything you're doing is preparation for that scene.
Yes. I'm sure the Dalai Lama would have something to say about that.
Well, he's not here.
No, it's just me.
You mentioned Shark Door. We should talk about Shark Door.
Yeah.
What was it like being in Shark Door?
It was fun. It was. What was amazing is that we did the first few courses together with Hoopla up to the long form course, which we'd had a really fun showcase and everything. And yeah, that was the first time I'd had an experience of a bunch of people going, let's keep this going and perform. And I remember my personal reaction being, wait, so all of a sudden I'm in a improv group. It just happened just like that. And we had many shows, launch pads, crash pads, other people's nights in quite a short amount of time, like in about 6 or 7 months, I think. And so many of them was so much fun, and including one time on my actual birthday at Thy Kingdom Comedy, when at the end of our set, one of my teammates, Martin, got the whole room to sing happy birthday to me. Which is what the basement of the comedy club, seeing me have. Jesus, I think Bleak Mouse were there as well, the actual Herald team. No, Jesus. But yeah, there were many fond memories, really enjoyed playing with the guys, and Giggle Loop formed out of the same class as well.
Wow.
And they also did a lot of stuff with us as Shut Door. And yeah, Giggle Loop, I guess, remain my best and longest friends in improv, especially because 2/3 of them are also in Story Kitchen. That helps.
Yeah.
And the third, which is Ellie, is possibly one of my favourite improvisers. She's so fucking funny.
Yeah,
so,
she is.
Not to knock the other two. I'm just sick of you now, having seen you so often. That's what it is.
The guests' opinions are not representative necessarily of the Improv London podcast. Cool.
It was awesome to be in Sharp Door, and then I couldn't for personal reasons. And then each of the guys there had sort of personal issues that none of us were dealing with particularly well, to the point that the group's bonds and friendships were suffering. Although not the improv, strangely. I still think we were doing really good work.
Right, yeah.
But personally, it came to a point where it's like, my life sucks in improv's a really great thing I do that helps my life sucking less.
Yes.
And then for improv to now be a thing that also sucks is just going to be, no, I can't do it. So I stopped for a little while, just stopped doing it. And then Mr. Fridge happened to form, and I was just sort of dragged into it by gravity of, and then Mr. Fridge did really, really well for the last year and a bit. And we've stopped doing anything now, which is fine because TooManyLuggage has formed hot on the heels. But yeah,
sometimes a group, seems to have a natural lifespan. We can't all do not just your stage.
Yeah.
And you learn from that experience.
Yeah.
And you meet great people on the way.
And actually, I remember towards the end of my time with Sharp Door, I was speaking to Sophie Pumphrey, and got to talking to her about just the issues I was experiencing, and like the chat I had with her was so helpful. I'm really grateful for it. Starting with the very first question she asked me, which was like, "Is this your first group?" And so I answered yes. But even in the question, it was even having been asked the question, I realised that she used the word first, and I thought, it could be first of many. Whatever groups I'm in, I know I'm going to be an improviser for a very long time, and it just restored a sense of perspective for me. And I went, this group could end, and I needn't necessarily be anxious about that, because there's still enough opportunity to be an improviser in London. There are, of course, jams, and there are teams and ways to get into teams, and there are courses, so many courses and great things you can, just so many ways to do improv that one needn't necessarily be sad about leaving a group in case you were worried that that's the only way you'd get to do improv. It's not going to be. Like, you can put yourself out there to other things, like our wonderful jams like Duck Duck Goose and the C3 jams, the FA's teacher jams as well. The Free Association has those, which is really cool. There's performance opportunities out there. It's really great that people put those on for us.
Yes. is great.
Yeah, that happened to you on the Saturday mornings a little, didn't it? You came coming up about the same time as
Yes.
Shut Door.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I had a fantastic time, and I learnt lots. And in the end, it ran its course. But it's much like relationships. You know, the first person that you date, you might be with for 10 years, like Do Not Adjust Your Stage.
Yeah.
But in other times, you learn from that experience, and then you take some of that experience, and then you're a better person in the next relationship.
Yeah. We have this just narrative about relationships that, like, because they've come to an end, they've been a failure, and it's not the case, is it? No, they make you different as a person. Maybe they make you better equipped for the one that lasts, if there even has to be a one that lasts.
Yeah.
So, it could be that my time with any of my current acts is temporary, although touch wood they're not, because they're amazing to be in. But I needn't be afraid of death.
I feel, on that message of hope.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming on the Improv London podcast.
You, Stu. I'm so honoured you asked me as if my opinion was worth a damn.
No, your opinion was very entertaining and interesting and enlightening. Thank you very much.
Oh, man. Thanks so much.
I made this.
That's improv!